Hi, I'm Alex. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I wanted to talk about my writing goals. Now, some of them are the goals I have complete and utter control over. Some of them not so much and are a little bit, those big goals that they always say, oh, remember, that's like this lightning strike that gets you. But personal belief. Make those big, weird, crazy goals because guess what? If you don't make them, they're never going to happen. And to be quite honest, even if they don't, if you've made that goal, more than likely you're going to get a whole lot closer than if you hadn't made it at all. So, that being said, let's get into the goals I can control. My first goal is to see one of my books, quite frankly, I don't care which one, but it'd be cool if it was the first one, on a bookstore shelf. That's kind of the goal that pushed me to pick traditional publishing, just because they tend to have more resources that lend toward that. I know that self-publishing, you can still do it, but so I want to see my book on a bookshelf. If you don't think that on Instagram there will not be a picture the day I walk into a bookstore and my book is there, you are mistaken. My next goal is to have a book signing meetup sort of thing. I know for a fact I have complete control over that. I can set one up myself. Obviously, after my book is done, But I just think that would be really kind of cool. Next goal is actually one that might happen sooner rather than later, and that's to create a website for my books and writing. Like, it's gonna sound so stupid. You know how Cassandra Clare has a website that's like dedicated to her books and it's got the entire dictionary of runes, and I want something like that for my books. I don't know why. I think that'd be really cool. And given a couple of the series I'm planning on writing, I think it would be just a really good way to keep track of things for myself and any people that like it. So that might actually happen sooner rather than later. Even just to have my writing up somewhere people can read. Short stories, that kind of thing. My next goal, and I've heard so many people say this isn't. I want to earn a living or work in the writing field, whether that be copy or editing or just my books. I would like that to be my primary source of income, writing. I've heard so many people on here say that they don't want writing to be their primary source of income, and I get that. The writing field can be very hit miss, especially as things change and everything. But to be perfectly honest, we're always going to need people to write things. So while my primary source of income may not be my books, I'd still like to be writing as at least the majority of my income, or at least working in the field of, even if that's like editing for a publishing house or something. I don't know. I don't know if you'd consider this the last controllable goal, because technically I guess it's not. But I actually have two more goals that I have control over, but one of them might be more distance goal. So the first goal that I have complete control over is I'd like to publish a compilation of fairy tale retelling continuation short stories, but very specifically LGBTQ. You would think as part of the community I would know this. LGBTQIA+. This is something I've been working on. I actually have like 6 or 7 of them written, and they're short story retellings of these fairy tales. Some are continuations, some are reworkings, some are retellings. And all of them, the main character is part of the LGBT community. So I'd like to have that published at some point once I get all of the stories done. The last one, the one that I'm like, it's completely in my control. It's just the last goal actually requires some explanation and some backstory. And that's to run my own publishing house. So the backstory to this that makes this make a lot more sense. A while ago, I would have to look it up to tell you what year they closed, but there was a publisher called Selwyn Publishing. And a large section of their publishing thing was LGBT books. I love them. I ordered so many books from them. They did several things that I really appreciated and I wish that we had in the publishing in general, like putting warnings on the back of the books. This book contains intimate relationships between such and such. This book contains violence. This book contains... It had trigger warnings for everything. It made sure that authors were sponsored. It provided multiple ways of getting book. Through them, you could get physical books. You could get downloadable books. You were allowed to have your books, your digital copies of books sat on a bookshelf that you could access at any time. They closed down at some point in the last 10 years, which really upset me. Now, why this is important. Some of the stories I write, I know are not going to be, publishers might not want to take a chance on them. And as such, I'm going to have to self-publish them, which essentially means setting myself up as a publisher anyway. I also really think we need to bring in or put back in those warnings on the back of books. As someone who doesn't actually like the age system we have set up for publishing, new adult, while I agree that kids' books should be separated and, under a certain age, you probably shouldn't be reading certain things, I don't like the way it's set up. But I also just, by having warnings on the back of the books, if I'm not okay with reading violence against people, or I'm not okay with reading an intimate scene, because sometimes you're just not ready to read that, or whatever, I can look at the back of the book and go, okay, this contains something I'm not okay with. And I think that's just, in general, something we should have. But I'm not going to be able to get that, more than likely. At least not right away. If I have my own publishing house, on the other hand, guess what I get to make the choice to do? And I can provide a place for people who want to publish their things under a publishing house that normal publishing houses might not be willing to publish because things are weird. And I don't mean that to say that, like, anything LGBTQ or whatever is weird, or just publishing seems to be a really weird place that's shifting a lot and they're not sharing the information. But I can provide a place that people can be like, all right, I know just because I wrote this, I can still get published without an uphill battle. So I guess in a way I kind of want to be the new Selwyn Publishing, but like my own spin on it. But that is something that I probably won't do unless I kind of have to. It's not like a primary goal. It's something I'll do if the time seems right to do it. The goals that are uncontrollable, but I think would be really cool to happen. I want fanfic and fan art of my books. I am part of fandom. I read fanfic. I look at fan art. I follow fan artists. I think that would be cool as anything for people to make fanfic and fan art of my books. I have no control over this, but it would be awesome. I'm also the type of person who would write fanfic of my own stories and put it out there mixed in with everyone else's and not ever say anything. It wouldn't be canon or anything. It would just be fan art or speculative. Fanfic, sorry. It would just be speculative stuff that I think, like, hey, this would be cool. I'm that kind of person, and no, I wouldn't tell anyone. Second goal that I have absolutely no control over. I honestly think that it would be really cool to have like a mini series done of my books. Specifically, the one I'm working on, Blood Brothers, I think would be really cool as a mini series. You would think I'd say movie, but I just think movie wouldn't be long enough, but a full series would be too long, so a mini series would be perfect. I think that would be really cool. I know. That's an unrealistic goal, but I don't believe in unrealistic goals. I just believe in goals that are very lofty. Next one. I think it'd be kind of cool to be invited to like a book conference type of thing, or I don't know what they're called. I didn't do the most research, but invited to a conference or like a oh god, what are they called? Like a, not a Comic-Con, but that kind of thing. Now, that being said, I don't do well with large groups of people and meeting new people. So that would be really, like, frightening for me. But it would be still kind of cool, like, I was invited to go somewhere. Me. Cool. I deal with it. The last goal that would be really cool, and not even, I don't know that it's a goal, it's just, again, comes with a little backstory. When I like a book or a movie or something, I tend to quote it. I've had entire conversations with people that are just quotes back and forth from different movies and stuff. It's really weird to hear from the outside, but I've had legitimate conversations that make perfect sense to me and the person I'm talking to. It'd be kind of cool for people to quote my books, and like, you know those pictures you see where it's a book quote and then like a really pretty picture or something? I guess they're supposed to be like motivational posters or just really cool things to have. I think that'd be really cool if someone did that with my books. Completely beyond my control, but it would be really cool to just be online one day and like, there it is, and it's like, yup. Those are my goals. Many of them are lofty as anything. But they're my goals. And we'll see what happens. Do you have any goals that are like really specific to your writing? Like, do you share any of those goals? Please tell me someone. Tell me I'm not alone in some of these lofty goals I've got. Let me know if you've got any goals below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.